The following is a presentation of KBTC Profiles.
The Job Carr Cabin Museum is a replica of the first permanent non-native dwelling in Tacoma, and the original was built by a man named Job Carr. Job Carr was a pretty interesting guy. He was a Civil War veteran and enlisted in his 40s for the Union side. He was a Quaker. Quakers are generally pacifists, but he was also an abolitionist, and so that was his driving factor in enlisting.
And so he and two of his sons joined up with the Union Army. And his wife, Rebecca, joined up as an Army nurse and followed his unit around. After Job was injured in battle, he heard about President Lincoln's plan to build a transcontinental railroad across the country. And so Job Carr decided he would take a chance and try something new and try and start a new life. And so he came out on the Oregon Trail to Washington Territory, and then once he got to Puget Sound, he paddled in a canoe all around Puget Sound trying to find just the perfect spot.
Christmas Day, 1864, he was outside Old Town here and said, "Eureka, Eureka, this is the place. This is where I'm going to build my cabin and stake my claim." And so he built his cabin, finished it in 1865, and really got Tacoma started as the community that we know it today.
We know that he found out that Commencement Bay is the deepest harbor anywhere in Puget Sound, and so it made a really great potential for a shipping port, which it now is. And we know that he wanted the railroad to connect here, so he wanted a landscape that was fairly level. He was just really excited about the landscape here and the potential that he saw for development. His family started to move here, and then other people heard about Job's idea and had the same idea as him. They wanted to come out and start a new life and have a town at the end of that transcontinental railroad. The town slowly grew and more industries developed here in Old Town. It was actually a pretty industrial neighborhood until 50 or 60 years ago, with lots of sawmills and boat building shops, and the fishing fleet for Tacoma was based in this area. And lots of immigrant communities came here and settled as well, as they found a really welcoming place to live. And where the museum is now, in Old Town Park, we are on the original homestead claim, but we're about a block and a half away from the original cabin site, which was much closer to the water.
We placed the reproduction cabin here, our current museum here in Old Town Park, which is part of the Metro Park system. The museum opened in the year 2000 and was spearheaded by a group of local businesswomen here in Old Town Tacoma. And they wanted a place to honor Job Carr's legacy in Tacoma and Old Town Tacoma's significance for the history of the city of Tacoma as well.
We get all types of visitors that come here to the museum. We get preschoolers who come in for a field trip or for story time, and we get families who come after they've been visiting in the park and playing at the playground or going to the coffee shop next door. We get senior citizens groups who are just wondering about local history and want to learn more, and history buffs who have a really good understanding of Tacoma history but want to dive a little bit deeper. It's quite an array of visitors here to the museum. We do our best to give them a glimpse into what life might have been like when the city was just starting out. And we do that in a variety of ways. We try and be a really hands-on museum. And as you look around here, you'll see there's not very many barriers to touching things and interacting with the exhibits, trying on costumes, playing with different Pioneer toys. Kids can go and sit on the Pioneer bed and see how it compares to their bed at their house. And so we want them to really step into history and kind of get that feeling that they're really back in time and experiencing what life might have been like if they were here back in the 1860s.
I hope visitors, after coming to the Job Carr Cabin Museum, will realize Job Carr's significance to the history of Tacoma. We like to say that Old Town Tacoma was the birthplace of Tacoma, and I think that's certainly accurate considering Job's early establishments here and efforts to get the city started.
KBTC profiles are available at kbtc.org.